Hey, it's Keisha. Welcome and welcome back. Tapping, or EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, is a tool that's been in my toolbox, for as long as I can remember. Probably the last 15 years or so. And, I use it every now and again. Sometimes when you have a lot of different tools to draw from, you don't engage with all of them as often as you might like. And then something will happen and you'll remember and come back to it and be like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I could do that. And that's kind of what happened to me last night. I was having trouble falling asleep. My body was overactive and I just couldn't seem to settle down. And my mind was ready to go to bed. Like I'd had enough of the day already. And because I couldn't quite pinpoint what was causing the distress, it could have just been stress in general, because I've been under that. I was like, just, you know what, let's just do some tapping and get it out of my system. And in this particular case, because I didn't know exactly what the nexus of, the discomfort was, or the distress was, I just did silent tapping and just tapped on all the points and asked my body and my mind to come into balance, into alignment, into peace. And it must have worked, because after that I went to bed and then I didn't wake up until the morning. So I call that a win. And because I felt so good when I woke up and I was like, tapping really made the difference, I thought we would revisit it today. Like I said, if I haven't already done a video on this. So I'll just, I'll do a couple of different rounds on a couple of different topics so that you can kind of see how it can apply to different things. And I think we'll actually start with the silent tapping, just so you can see the points and see how I move through them, and go from there. So the first thing we want to do when we come to thinking, okay, I'm going to do some tapping, is to check in and just kind of see where we are as a baseline. So for me right now, in terms of like where I am, I know I'm a little bit stressed and not quite in my energy, even though I've meditated and done yoga today. But a lot's going on, lots happened. So I'm probably somewhere between a 6 and a 7 for how I would, judged against how I would normally feel or would like to feel. So when we do our check-in at the end, we'll do 2 rounds of tapping and then we'll check in again. I'll let you know if I'm feeling feeling different. So to begin, I'm taking my glasses off because I know I need to get to those in a moment. My eyes in a minute. We start by the karate chop point on the back of the hand. So if this is the pinky side of the hand, that fleshy part, we're going to take the opposite hand and just tap on it. And again, since I don't really know what the issue is that's going on, that's got me all like, I'm just going to tap and remind myself, Keisha, I love you. I love you. Whatever it is, I love you, and the universe has you. You are safe and held in the loving arms of the universe. God is in the midst of you, and you will not be moved. So that's where we start with our initial opening statement. And then our first point of tapping is going to be inside of the eye. So just tapping, just inside the brow bone, where the brow and the bone to the nose meet in that fleshy part there. You're just going to gently, lightly tap there. And breathe. And then move to the outside of the eye, so the outside of the brow bone. And you can repeat your statements out loud or to yourself. In my case, I'm just saying, Keisha, I love you, and it's going to be okay. So now we're tapping underneath, right at the top of the chin bone, directly beneath the center of the eye. Now we're going to tap in the philtrum underneath the nose, above the top of the lip. Directly below, at the center of the chin, like the cleft, the chin. And now we're clapping at the clavicle, so you can see my collarbone here. This like the fleshy indentation. So here's the collarbone, and then you can see my coming down into my sternum. That little fleshy part right there. We're just going to tap into that, and you can tap on either side or both sides. Our bodies mirror each other. So I happen to be right-handed, so I tend to start tapping on my right. So just tapping into that fleshy part of the collarbone. And it doesn't have to be the exact dead center. It might be in the area around it. You'll feel the right point as you tap in that space. And now under the arm, this is going to be kind of, well, just at the bra, like at the bra line. So we're just tapping there. And I use all 4 of my fingers there to kind of cover as much area as possible and to know that I'm going to get all of it. And again, as you're tapping that area, you can feel a little sensitivity there. It feels a little soft and fleshy, more so than the rest of the body. And you'll know you're in the right spot. So on your side at the bra line. And you don't have to hold your arm in the air. You can just hold it out from you, just so you give yourself access to your side. And now the crown of the head, at the very top of the head. And you'll notice there's kind of at the center of the head there'll be a little indentation right in the center of the very top of the head. And again, if you're using 2 or 3 fingers to tap, you'll likely cover the spot. And once you hit it, you'll know that, oh wait, yeah, that's the spot. Just keep breathing. Keisha, I love you. And everything's going to be okay. You have everything you need. Everything is fine. So now that we've come back to the brow, this starts our second round. And you may notice some subtle physiological changes. You may feel like you need to yawn. That's a good indication that the energy is moving and you're releasing stagnant energy and bringing in fresh oxygen to the body. So that's always a good sign. You may sneeze, you may need to blow your nose, you may, your eyes may start to water, you may start to cry. A lot depends on the type of emotions that you're working with and the topic that you're choosing to tap on. But like I said, right now, this is just a round of silent tapping, just kind of all over general. I just want to feel better without necessarily knowing exactly what the issue is that's got me, all turned around. As you can see, we're just taking a few seconds at each spot. Now you may hear like the gentle thumping that I'm doing. I'm kind of doing it a little bit harder than usual so you can hear that. But you don't have to tap hard. You can simply touch the area. That's enough. You can like touch and hold, touch and hold. And when we're done with that second round, just take a deep breath in and let it out. And check in with yourself again. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel? How do you feel? So before I started, I told you I was at about a 6 or a 7. And now I feel like I'm at about a 0 or 1. I'm back in my energy. I feel like, normal, classic Keisha. I feel good. All that excess is just gone. So that's silent. Like I just call that silent tapping. And I use that when I don't really know what's going on. I don't have time to think about it, or I'm too stressed to really give it a name. Just tapping on those points and breathing has brought me back into equilibrium. And if I were going to end here, I'd be fine to go about my day, right? If I were deep in the middle of something a little more serious, having done just those couple of rounds, kind of, that silent, nebulous, feeling, I might have more composure and be in a better frame of mind to check in again and assess, okay, exactly what am I feeling and why? And then I could do another round of tapping that addresses that. So let's just give, I'm going to give a couple of general examples that we can work through, and, feel free to substitute your own language. I'll give a couple of statements out loud to kind of give you a feel for the direction I'm heading. And then I'll be quiet so that you can use your own language and talk to yourself in the language that best suits you and speaks to you. So how about we do a round for inviting prosperity and greater financial abundance, like bringing that money, honey. All right, so let's do that. So again, we always start on the outside of our hand at the karate chop point. Even though my finances aren't where I want them to be, I still love and accept myself. Even though I'm behind on my bills, I know this condition is temporary, and I still love and accept myself. Even though I've been hit with some unexpected expenses, and I'm a little freaked out about how they're going to get paid, I still deeply and truly love and accept myself. We don't usually start at the top. Sorry. Starting at the brow point. Man, it sucks not to have enough money. I hate this feeling of not being able to plan. I hate this feeling of not being able to pay my bills on time, in full, and in peace. I want to be done with financial struggle. I want to have more money. I want to have more money than I can count. I want to have a reason to have an accountant. I invite more money to come into my world now. It's kind of exciting to think about having more money. I love it when I have lots and lots of money. That is my natural state of being. Abundance, prosperity. being able to buy whatever the hell I want whenever the hell I want it. I love having plenty of money that I can not only buy what I want, but share and help other people. I've had lots of money before, so I know what it feels like. I look forward to having lots of money again. I can't wait until vast sums of money and big happy financial surprises greet me. Take a deep breath in. Now, I know when we started that round, I forgot to check in with how we were feeling about money to get that baseline. But just knowing me and how I was feeling, I was somewhere around probably like a 6, just feeling a little tight, like right? But after those 2 rounds, now I feel more like, 0 or 1. Like, the things that I have in front of me, they're going to get handled. I can handle it. I got this. I got this. Couple of things that you may have noticed. When we start with the karate chop point, the first point, you want to have your opening statement about this topic that's got, that's of concern. And then you follow that with, but I love and accept myself, right? So regardless of however you're feeling, I still love and accept myself, right? That's important. And then if you notice when we started, it was the feelings of constriction, right? Like the negative aspect of how I was feeling about money. And as we moved through the points, the language got progressively more and more positive, right? So we went from, I fucking hate not having money, to vast sums of money. I'm excited for vast sums of money and big happy financial surprises. And that's what we want to do with our tapping. We want to start with where we are. This isn't, we're not going to be Pollyanna and just make everything okay by saying it's okay. If you're feeling tight, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling stressed, whatever the feeling is, name it, call it, be that. If you're tapping because, say, for instance, you're angry, you can't get to the other side of that anger by telling yourself, okay, I'm going to be happy right now. Like, you can't go from there to here instantly like that. There's got to be, movement in between. So start where you are and call out the anger. I'm so fucking angry right now. These things really piss me off, right? And as you go from mad anger and you continually move through the tapping points, you'll notice that anger starts to abate, and maybe one word in your statement you can change in the next statement, and it becomes a little bit lighter, a little bit more towards that positive direction, so that you keep doing your successive round. You keep moving through the points, and maybe you do 2 or 3 rounds, and the statements become more and more positive till you're able to end on the most positive statement you can make. So if I start with, oh, I'm so freaking angry right now, we're going to move through, this thing really has upset me, but this isn't the way it's going to be. I'm going to find my balance. I'm going to get a handle on the situation. I know I can take my power back. If I'm in my power, this is the type of result I want to see. It feels so good to be in my power, right? Now that I'm back in my power and I know where I want to direct it, I feel confident in the outcome, right? So we've moved from a negative statement to progressively positive ones, so that we've transmuted that anger from raging to, no, I got this and we're going to fix this, right? And then, of course, if you already know you're at a 10, you might not need to check in because that's where you're starting. But when you're done with your 2 or 3 rounds, you want to check in again and notice if the anger is still there. If it's anywhere, so for instance, if we start at a 9 or a 10 and you do your 2 rounds and you're at a 3 or 4, stop for a minute and be like, whoo, thank you. Thank you for this improvement. Because improvement's all we're looking for. And because you're now at a 3 to 4, well, you'll take that good energy and the recognition of you having used your agency to create positive change. And now you'll do another round. And what we're looking for is to get between anything below a 2, I think is acceptable. If you've done, so you did your 2 rounds and you brought yourself down from a 9 to a 4, that's awesome. Maybe you do another round, you go from 4 and you go to a 2. If you feel complete right then for that moment, then that's all you need to do right now, because you can move through your world at a 2, right? And then maybe in an hour or 2 later, you'll come back, assess where you are, and if you're still at a 2, then maybe you do another round real quick to see if you can get yourself down to 0. You don't have to get yourself to 0 all at once, because depending on the emotions that you're working with, that might be too far a jump, right? We need time for our emotions for us to process and to flow through, allow them to flow through us and to flow out of us. And so, take that win from 9 to 4, and then from 4 to 2, and then come back a little bit later to see if you can get yourself to 0, right? Tapping can be done over any subject, any topic. Most often, if you look it up online, it'll be for weight loss. You can pick some aspect of weight loss that you want to do. Like, maybe you're beating yourself up because you're eating too many processed foods. So you could do a round or 2 of tapping to abate the cravings for refined carbohydrates. You might want to do a round of tapping to encourage yourself to drink more water. You might do a round of tapping to feel differently about exercise if you're not particularly inclined, but know that you need to and want to include it as part of a healthy plan to affect weight loss. That might be something that you do so that you release the resistance to the exercise. There's so many different, because the weight if we're carrying excess weight, it's on us for a number of different competing reasons. It makes sense to approach tapping from various aspects as well. You can certainly do it for overall weight loss, but I find that coupling an overall round with something specific that you want to work on, that tends to be the most helpful. Likewise, you can do it for pain management. If you are experiencing, say, back pain for whatever reason, or knee pain, and it seems to be focusing all of your attention on that, you can do a few rounds of tapping to release that pain and lessen the response to it. So that could be helpful. One of the most striking moments that I use tapping, and I think this still stays with me, is this was years ago. I was, it's probably the first time that my car was under threat to be repossessed. And I was completely freaked out. And maybe something else had happened and I was really, really stressed. I was super anxious. I mean, anxiety off the charts. And that's not something I'm particularly given to. And something said, why don't you do some tapping for it? And I was so over the top. Like, I must have been at like a 12 or 13, like forget a scale of 1 to 10. And I remember I did a couple of rounds and was able to get myself down to like a 1 or a 2. And this was years ago, like probably 10 or 12 years ago. And I have never, since that day, I've never been that anxious about anything in my life. Like, and I don't know why that particular round of tapping stuck on that particular topic, but it did, and it's held steady all these years. Like I said, I mean, and I've had moments of anxiety, sure, that have come up, but nothing to that level to kind of knock me off center. And when I have felt the beginnings of what could be a panic attack, it doesn't get further than that. So it was particularly helpful, and it's been holding me down all these years, despite all of the challenges that I have faced in the years since. So when I say it's a particularly powerful practice, it really is. It really, really is. If your anxiety is, if it's acute, like in that case for me it was, tapping is fantastic. If it's just generalized anxiety, like you just feel nervous and anxious about everything and anything that's coming up, tapping could be your friend in helping you release that and being able to see that you've come through similar moments of being challenged and you were fine, that there was no reason to be worried or upset. So it's a very powerful tool in the toolbox, and I'm glad to share it with you. And I really think I've done a video on this before. If I have, I will link it in the description box. If I haven't, I'm glad to have done my perfect work today. Leave me comments down below about how effective this was for you. If there's something, a specific issue that you want me to do a round of tapping on so you can hear the language and how we move from, one side of the spectrum to the other, we can certainly do that. I look forward to hearing from you and giving me suggestions. I'm glad to do this again. Maybe for something like singular, we can do just a short, and not necessarily need to do a full-blown video. But yeah, those are some options. I'm here for you, and I am glad you are here with me. So I'll see you soon. Bye.